Hey everybody, happy break. I hope everybody is having a good fall break and getting some time away to rest and recuperate from a long semester. I have a PWA for you this week. We have a mini session on digging in and to doing some citation analysis. I'm going to be uploading a couple tutorials on how to look up work cited in a couple of different databases and using Google Scholar to do that as well. But what I really want you to do for our session on Tuesday is some thinking, and mostly to do some work with concept mapping again. Now that you are a little deeper into your projects, this is a great time to go back and start to reframe or reshape your conversations that you've been having with yourself mostly, but also in class, and write those down into a concept map again. I've done that with my Hamsa project. I started with this particular image of the Hamsa, and that came from a sleeve that I have for lymphedema, actually. It looks like this. And the image of the Hamsa is there, and the elephant, and this is definitely from a Hindu or a Hindu tradition in this case, and I knew that image from Judaic tradition, and so I've done some working here on a new concept map for that. And actually, even as I was thinking about it and working through it and looking at some more information, I even revised my concept map within the same hour, adding some new things to it. So I've attached both those images here. So take a look at that and start to think about your own projects in that way. Also, too, for this PWA, I want you to go back through some of the resources that you have, the ones that you're finding most valuable, and really dig into the references that are in there and start requesting items through interlibrary loan if you haven't done that already. If you've already done that, awesome, you're ahead of the game. That's great. But then also, too, to start analyzing these resources a little bit for what you think you're going to get out of them, and then ultimately, does that bear out, or do you still need to be looking for things? The other thing you want to start thinking about, too, especially in light of Smith's in material and comparison, at a certain point you can't look at everything, and you can't bring everything into bear on your project. So another piece I want you to start thinking about is, and especially into your concept maps, into that definition or scope or background, how are you going to be scoping this? Everything is going to have some kind of a scope, and so I want you to start thinking about that. You can articulate that in your concept map. How has your scope maybe changed from what you originally thought it was going to be to what you're maybe looking at now? There's all this background information that you might need to personally look at and know about, but for your project, you're going to probably have to, most of you are going to have to narrow your scopes to looking at a very particular aspect. So start thinking about that in terms of what you might be even working with for comparison. You can't compare to everything, and you're always going to have to note those things, note the limitations of what you're working with, so that your readers, your audience is aware of what those are. So start thinking about that. Also in the for this particular PWA, just writing some brief notes about what you're looking at and what kinds of things might you be needing to do next. I want you to think about methods. What methods are in the materials that you've already collected? Might you be able to use those methods in your own work? So learning from those scholars and using those examples for your own work. Also, too, you might need to bring in some new methods. Maybe there's some gaps here that you can fill in. Maybe you need to be doing some interviewing. Maybe you need to collect some data. Maybe you need to do some surveying of people. Maybe there's some other text you need to bring to bear for comparison or for other reasons. So this is a great time to refocus and start thinking about that again, too. So your PWA is all about thinking, and we'll be bringing those into class for discussion on Tuesday. So have a great rest of your break, and I will see you on Tuesday.